Again, peep the consistency of Stephen A. Smith when people talk about going against the system. This is Dwight Howard. We're going to read his comments and we're going to listen to Stephen A. And coming into this video, I already knew what the fuck Stephen A. was going to say, but let's get it.
In Orlando. Our main objective is to raise awareness and gain transparency on the things that concern us collectively. Many of our fellow players are afraid to voice their concerns and are continuing to follow along with what they believe they have to. As radical as Kyrie may sound, he is 100% correct. We are no longer slaves. So every man has a right to transparency in order to make sound decisions. If any one of us chooses to sit, it has nothing to do with another player's right to play. Either way, regardless of what criticism and retribution we face, we still want to protect the players who are afraid to protect themselves. We will ask all the uncomfortable questions that can lead us to truth in unity.
Okay, now before Stephen A. go, let me say something real quick. The voice of the players is suppressed, so a lot of these niggas is scared. So a few of these players is coming out and speaking in spite of knowing the retribution, the consequences, as he says. Stephen A. appears to refuse to understand that by calling their argument senseless. They're saying they want to sit down and raise awareness on the real issue instead of bringing the attention back to basketball. They said it many times. Now let's hear Stephen A. call it senseless.
Meanwhile, Kevin Durant responded on Instagram to a post of Kendrick Perkins' criticism of Kyrie Irving with the words, "sellout," then retweeted a video of Perkins airballing a jumper. Stephen A., I'll start with you here. A lot to digest. After this recent statement and KD's post, what's your reaction to all of this?
Let me pause this right here. You have people who align with Kendrick Perkins right here. And they know who to put on TV. Jay Williams and Stephen A. They align with Perkins' position on going through the institution and the channels of the system of white supremacy. So both of them out the gate gonna disagree. Max Kellerman, I don't care about your position on sellouts in the black community. You're not in the black community, and neither do I care about Molly's position. Sellouts, coons, house Negroes, this is topics to be discussed within the black community. I care less for Max Kellerman's opinion on that.
Well, first of all, I think that whoever represents Dwight Howard or whoever wrote that statement needs to do a better job of articulating what the position was, because I issue with Kyrie Irving.
I understood it. Boycott to raise awareness at a different area, not sports. You don't understand it, or you just called it inarticulate. People dismissing every time a system attack is in place.
And Dwight Howard certainly had nothing to do with who they were or are as men. It has nothing to do with who they are as players. It had everything to do with the lack of clarity that they were disseminating while they were speaking purportedly. That was the issue. You were not being clear about what you wanted to say. You did not have a plan. In Dwight Howard's case specifically, he went on CNN and did nothing but mumble. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. That's how he came across. That's the issue. And I think that Dwight Howard is a very good guy and a smart guy, but that was not his brightest moment because simply
The issue is not how he articulates the point. The issue is you don't like the point he's trying to articulate of boycotting and sitting and denouncing that structure that you get paid by.
He wasn't clear about what he was saying. It made no sense. That was the issue that people were getting on them about. Nobody was trying to change their position. You're trying to say, be clear about what it is that you want. Be specific and stay focused. That was the issue. Now let me get to Kevin Durant. You know, Jay Williams brought, obviously KD brought me on the boardroom. We had talked on prior occasions to that. I have profound and tremendous respect for Kevin Durant. Y'all know how I feel about him. I think that he's probably the best in the world when healthy. And I can't wait for him to get back on the basketball court because we all miss him. He's smart. He's bright. He's incredibly accomplished. All of those superlatives belong to be associated with him. So I would answer the question by throwing a rhetorical question in your direction, Jay, Max, and others before I continue on. And that is this. During this time of strife in our nation's history, with everybody clearly needing to come together, it's one thing if you disagree with an idea or you disagree with what somebody is saying and you articulate that position. But at a time when folks all over the place are calling for black people to unite more than ever before, and if you're going to disagree, just disagree with ideas, but come together. Kevin Durant, a brilliant young man and obviously a brilliant basketball player. The only word we've heard from you on this issue is calling Kendrick Perkins a sellout. Who really looks bad? I got news.
Now, I don't disagree with that completely. The ad hominem name calling game is a petty chastising game. However, when you're in a position of Kendrick Perkins or Stephen A. or Jay Williams, your black face represents more than you at the moment. So when you represent a position that is totally in favor of a system that supports your disenfranchisement, that doesn't feel you on race issues, that treat you like cattle, then you are selling out to the system. It's not saying you are a sellout, but what you are doing is selling out. And when a revolutionary tries to be Nat Turner, because again, radical, like Dwight said, when a revolutionary tries to do something extreme, the quote unquote people who are selling out tell them to sit down, calm down, and shut up and dribble, just in a different way.
It's not Kendrick Perkins, it's Kevin Durant, because you have much more in your arsenal to explain your position rather than simply denigrating a former teammate of yours. I understand where it's coming from because, as I've told Kendrick Perkins in the past, you were in that locker room, you wore the same uniform, so the things that you say are going to be inhaled differently than it emanating from a person that's in the media as a profession throughout his career, as opposed to a former player that is in the media. But if you really dissect and deduce what Kendrick Perkins is saying, I gotta side with Kendrick Perkins here. And
there go to choose side. There go to side. I waited for it. There go to side. I'm choosing Kendrick Perkins. You're gonna choose the side that goes against boycotting the system every time. You just don't know it yet. You think it's because you're reasonable and logical, and the other side is nonsensical. But it's because you have a almost genetic code to protect and go through the system or go in the system instead of running through that bitch.
In terms of what he was saying about Kyrie, he said,
who didn't know Stephen A. and Jay Williams was going to agree with Kendrick Perkins? Who didn't know that?
And quote, Kyrie wanted to play. It wasn't until Kyrie Irving couldn't get what he wanted that he came up with other things. Whether that's true or not, that's according to Kendrick Perkins. Because
oh, but you agree with that though. Whether that's true or not, you can't substantiate it. You point out cause and effect. They didn't say Kyrie could play. Now he's doing this. That sounds like Colin Kaepernick was a backup. Now he's taking a knee. Every time y'all find a little excuse aside from the real essence of, nigga, why am I not just trying to combat racial discrimination? Why you can't see that part? Why you can't see that part of Kyrie? I'm trying to combat a real problem. You have to reduce it to, oh, he don't want to play, or he couldn't play and now he's acting like this. This is why he's speaking out about racism. Deflectors. Sellouts. At least in uniform.
To the number of players he had spoken to who were obviously on those calls. So if Kyrie Irving's position has changed and it deviates from the leadership and you as a vice president is involved, but you're doing things that even the president of the Players Association is not aware of, then it seems counterproductive to what you're supposedly trying to accomplish. So Kendrick Perkins may have been a bit acerbic, a bit abrasive, a bit truculent in pointing those things out, but nevertheless, he articulated in depth what his issue was. So for me, if
But Kyrie Irving and Dwight didn't. Go watch Kyrie Irving's statement. Go watch Kendrick Perkins' statement. Go watch Dwight Howard's statement and his CNN interview. He wants to say Kendrick Perkins articulated his stuff in depth because he favors Kendrick Perkins. Y'all don't see it yet. Y'all will see it. Some of y'all gonna see it. But some people are propped on this tube to support white supremacy, and whether they know it or not, it's counterproductive, and it prompts the response for people to call these people sellouts. I'm not saying he is or isn't, but it prompts people to look at them that way. It's your boy Dane.